Our old friends keep returning every time, and we're so grateful to see your faces again. And we have some new people joining us. And thank you for coming and joining our small group. Chris and I are working to share with the world the truth, just the truth. It is as simple as anything. And that is that you are all powerful just as you are. Chris wrote The Simple Truth About God. There is no book that is a better, is sweeter way of understanding what that means. She just heard voices come to her, and they were from souls across time, explaining what life on earth was compared to the way souls have knowing beyond our limited manner of understanding. So as we expand our understanding, it is extraordinary to become all that we are here to be. I wrote Healing Through Love based on my own personal journey of illness with cancer and growth through that, and the discovery that there's nothing more powerful than self-love. As you love yourself, you can overcome everything. It does not mean, and we'll talk about that one day, that if you are sick, you can make yourself well just by loving yourself. But what self-love does is it opens a door to an opportunity to heal all the way within your heart so that you never have to experience that physical anomaly again. So I'm going to turn today over to Chris. Are we taping, Chris?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Well, welcome everybody. As Marilyn said, we are honored by your choice to join us and the choice of your heart to allow in the answers that you have been seeking in this and all lifetimes. And that's simply, the answer is that you are the simple truth that you are God. You are perfect as you are. God is mankind's word for the greatest magnificence that we can imagine. But it is the magnificence that we each are in every single moment of our existence. And it is a question of how we relate to that, how we love that truth of our being that creates the experience we have in our lifetime. And I would say lifetimes because I'm well aware there's more than one. Today, we're going to talk about listening, and we're going to do this probably over the next 2 sessions. One of the things when I first heard that I was here to be a messenger of this simple truth that we're God, is I realized very quickly that that's a simple message. You're God. Now you choose whether you honor that or you separate from it. But then I realized really the work in this lifetime for me in sharing this message was to help people understand the tools that they use in their everyday life to create as God. How do we manifest our life? And one of those tools is listening. And I think it is extraordinarily something we learn in our earthly life. We learn from everybody around us to essentially shut it down rather than to open it up. So what I'm going to do is split this into 2 different sessions. This session focusing on who we listen to. And what does that say about our choice of how we're loving ourselves? And the second session we'll do next time will be on how we listen. Because this is such a powerful way that we can experience all that we are as God. It's really, really important that you all hear this and understand it. So I'm going to start with who we listen to, because it's very clear to me, and I think to all of you when you think about it, that every day you make choices about who you're going to listen to. We make them on a macro level, and we say certain people are more important for me to listen to than others. In other words, if the Dalai Lama was to knock on your door, you would make time and listen to the Dalai Lama. But if your cleaning person or your trash person or a neighbor that you don't like was to knock on your door, you may start to put up walls because they don't have as much to share as the Dalai Lama. They're not as spiritually advanced as the Dalai Lama. Or if your grandchildren come in and they're yelling something at you, they're kids, they're children. You listen to them differently. When the truth is that everyone is equal, absolutely equal as God. There is no one who is more God and no one who is less. And the words that you hear from every single person are your heart as God communicating with you the answers to the questions you have most been asking. Take that in for a moment and understand what I just said. What I said was, in this lifetime, you ask your heart, you ask yourself, you ask of the world, you ask of people, hundreds, if not thousands of questions, seeking answers, maybe to a pressing problem of your heart, maybe to a global issue of life, the meaning of life. You ask those questions, and what you've been taught is not to listen to the answers. And you've been taught that through watching the behavior of your parents, learning through your teachers who do not know, because they are living in a separation from themselves as God, that everything that they are hearing from every person is equally important as a message, equally filled with spiritual truth as a message for your heart. It's astounding. It's so wonderful. I want all of you to experience the gloriousness of getting and hearing the answers to every question you've ever asked. And the truth is, they're there for you. They're there for you in every person who is sharing any moment of your life and speaking to you. And so the first step is to place yourself before every single person you meet, equally open, equally honoring that they are God, that they are the most important messenger for your heart, and not to dismiss anything or anyone. It's unbelievable. It's always been there for everyone. And it sits right there in the words and languages that you hear and you share. And it's learning first to allow yourself not to close off through your judgments that one source is a better or higher source than another. Every source matters. And it's valuable also to take a moment with what I'm talking about today, which is who you listen to think about the choices you have been making about who you are willing to listen to and who you're not. Because whether it's within a family or it's within a school setting or work setting, we create these constructs about why someone should be listened to versus somebody else. Why someone knows more than somebody else. And whether it's gender-based, skin color-based, you know, I don't know, there's probably goes on and on, the levels of judgment we have about who should be listened to, or age-based. Ask yourself why you choose to see one person's comments to you, words to you, as more worthy and another's as less. Because you are, when you make those choices, you are fundamentally talking about how you are loving you. So when you choose to view one person as less worthy, a valuable source to learn from, the pain of that judgment of less is felt in your heart and your life. That's another reason why it matters so much. When we do not stand before each person that we meet equally in honor of them and their totality as God. Because when we make those choices to separate from some people versus others, that separation is our choice of how we're loving ourselves. Because when we choose that one is not God, all are not God, and that includes us. So it is a glorious step to open yourself, to pay attention to who you choose to listen to. And I would say, make that who an everything, because the messages come to you from everywhere. They come to you in moments where animals appear that weren't there before. It's a message. They come to you when you're walking through a store and music is playing and it's a certain song. Why am I hearing those words? Why am I aware of those songs? And I will give you an example as I finish and turn it over to Marilyn here. Just this morning, some of you don't know me personally, but my husband and I own a company here in the Denver area. And just this morning, he said to me, oh, there's an article in the paper by this man who writes about what happens when people don't prepare for the succession of their business. So whether it's to hand it off to family members or to prepare for what might happen in a pandemic or something like that. When they don't prepare, what does it matter? What happens? And the interesting thing about the article is, two of the people that were referenced in the article, one was a wife whose name was Christy, C-H-R-I-S-T-I, who was left the business when her husband crossed suddenly. And the second person he was referencing was a man named Ben, and my husband's name is Ben. And after reading the article, I said to him, I said, did you realize when you read his, he told me, hey, you should look at that article. It makes me think we should be doing something now. I said, did you realize that the two people in the article had our names? And he's like, oh my God, I didn't notice that. Everything matters. It was directly sharing something we needed to hear. And it was done in a way to get our attention, like, hey, it was our names. Your heart is doing this everywhere, all the time, helping you, helping you, helping you. It is joyful to treat everything equally, that it is filled with truth for you. It is filled with messages for you. And it is teaching you how you are loving yourselves. So I'm going to turn this over to Marilyn.
Well, I never heard that story, Chris. That's fascinating. What I do is when Chris presents, I then bring it to our day-to-day lives, which she already has done so profoundly. But as an example, a couple of weeks ago, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, right? Don't we all have a day where we feel a little off center, not understanding why we're not feeling great? And most mornings I have the joy, especially with the pandemic, of Skyping with my daughter and my youngest granddaughter. And I usually share breakfast with them. And I was not having a great day, and I gave my daughter a heads up because I didn't want my grandchild to feel my energy. And my granddaughter suddenly looks straight at me on the computer and she goes, "Grandma," and just like this, she just patted her hands on the computer because that was like my head. And she says, "It's going to be okay." And there was a time I would have heard those words and thought, how sweet is that? But this time, as I've been doing now, I realized that is God's voice talking to me. That is my truth. It's going to be okay. And it did turn my day around. It is as simple as that, and you never know where it's going to come from. And it comes from the oddest places. And I suggest as an exercise, actually, and it's something that Chris and I do all the time, when you have a dilemma or you have a situation that is challenging to your heart, you know how we eat ourselves up inside sometimes? It just takes us over. What I recommend is that you sit in a quiet moment. You can meditate or not, it doesn't matter. You just sit and you say, "Okay, heart, I would like an answer to this question." And you put forth your question. You just put it forth. Make it simple, one question at a time, and then say, "I would like an answer within 24 hours, within 3 days." Whatever you feel is needed, and your knowing will present that timeline for you. And then let it go. And when you let it go and don't let it keep pulling you down, it could be a song you hear, it could be a stranger just making a comment. You're going to hear the solution that you are seeking. It sounds odd, it sounds a bit out there, but people are speaking to us, signs are around us. We have to learn how to listen. Many of us do a lot of talking. You have to go into silence in order to hear. So be aware of yourself, how much you speak versus how much you're willing to listen to another person speak. And it doesn't matter who it is. It could be your mother-in-law. It could be your boss. It could be anyone. It could be someone you don't even care for. That is the biggest challenge. Rather than just dismiss things that people say, listen. It's not every single detail if they're telling you about, this one or that one, but it could be a message in there. And don't close the door to the opportunity of hearing what you are seeking so that you can move through life in greater peace.
Before we open up, Marilyn, I want to address one more thing with this. Some of you know that the second book that I wrote is called Heart Songs, Messages for Parents from Children Across Time. And it was a book flowed from children who had crossed over and wanted to share back messages fundamentally about being God. Anyway, one of the things we don't understand is that children choose their parents. And for all of you who are parents, they choose you in order to be your teacher. They come specifically to help you learn what you most need to learn about being God, about being perfect as you are. And yet we are so fast here on earth to dismiss children. And until the age of 13, we are co-creating with them. You are their buoy by how you love them. And at 13, you release them and they need to carry themselves forth in this lifetime. But I encourage all of you to listen to them. Listen to them. They have come here to share with you. They are great, great teachers. So I just wanted to remind everybody, what I find is we tend in this lifetime to listen more to people who are not our family than our family, because we build up all of these views of people and why we should listen to them, and they're not educated, or they're not this, or they're not that. It doesn't matter. It's a moment of your heart, whether they are your children, whether they are your parents, whether they are friends, it doesn't matter. Open yourself to listen to them. And it will also allow you, for their heart, to celebrate their purpose of choosing you to be their parents, because they are heard in this lifetime.
Are there any questions? No questions. All right. Yes, Neelam?
Yeah, can you elaborate
Senthil?
that? Yeah, this is.
Okay, Senthil.
Hope your my voice is clear to you.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you just elaborate the the listening to the kids or the children? Can you put a little more elaboration on this?
On why to listen to them, or when you would say to elaborate?
Yeah, why and how, and kind of. I need a little more details on it.
When children come into the earth,
Yeah.
when we give birth to our children, they come in absolute purity. They come with no limitations.
Yeah.
Don't you believe that we ourselves are surrounded by limitations that we are working on releasing? Children are absolutely pure. A child will say the most extraordinary things, and when you listen, you're going to find great joy, you're going to laugh, you're going to enjoy every moment. And sometimes they are voicing things that if you learn how to hear, you will say, wow, that answered the question I put forth. They are just beings of light, and they are pure. When I am, before the pandemic, when my path would cross a newborn baby and I would go and gift, visit, I always whispered to the child, remember who you are. Remember you are God. And as parents, our job is to remind them over and over throughout life of their power, of their strength, of their brilliance, of their wisdom, of their magnificence. And of course, as they get older, unfortunately, society kind of takes some of that away. But if we learn to listen to them, and as we allow them to be all that they're here to be, they are the most powerful teachers that are on earth. And it is amazing. Chris, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think it's important to recognize how we treat age, because we accord people a certain level of respect for what they might say or what they might know based on their age. And sometimes in some cultures, when someone's very, very toward the end of their physical lifetime, they're accorded more respect, and sometimes in some cultures less. I would say the American culture, it's probably less. And on the flip side, for children, we fundamentally act as if they need to go through school, and maybe at some point they'll have learned something that we can learn from them, or they know.
There is a question on chat here. What if a family member or brother who is very negative in his comments and beliefs about you?
We're going to spend next session talking a lot about that. But just so we honor that question right now, anything we're hearing because our heart is asking us, is this how you want to love yourself? So if you are experiencing someone who is tremendously negative, it will be very important and valuable for you to say to your heart, okay, heart, I hear that you are asking me to look at how I am negative. And look at yourself, look at your thoughts, look at your choices, look at your words, and see where you are being negative. Is it negative about the world? Is it negative about your body? Is it negative about your family? You know, I don't know, but that's what your heart is saying in someone who so strongly is negative. It's your heart saying, hey, is that how you want to love yourself? Because you can change that choice. You can make a different choice about how you love yourself. You can be celebratory of everything. As God, you are perfect as you are. Self-love is the total self-acceptance of yourself as you are. So that's why it matters that you place yourself before everybody and listen. And then ask yourself, is this how I want to love myself? What is this person? What are these words conveying to me about how I am loving myself?
So we're getting more chat questions. If somebody is being negative or sending forth bad energy towards you, is it a reflection of yourself or things you may need to work on? So the answer to that is, it gives you an opportunity to learn. Listen to the words specifically. Recognize that a person who is angry is only a reflection of anger within yourself. Where are you angry? It offers you an opportunity to just pay attention to something in your heart that they are reflecting. They are a mirror, but it might not be. They might be angry because the food wasn't properly prepared, but it's a representative of something else. This topic, we can go on for hours and hours. Another question on chat is, Chris, you said listen to everybody. Is it everybody?
Oh, yeah. It's absolutely everybody. And it's all I can do in sharing this with everybody is, it is so glorious. It is so glorious. I want to, cry in the energy of this, that when you place yourself before each person and you honor them and you honor what you're hearing, and you just do that alone before everyone will open your heart.
Neelam,
Yes.
you had a question? What, Chris, you have to unmute her.
I know.
I think
Okay.
I also meant to ask the same as I think somebody asked, that when we listen to everyone, listen to everybody. But I also wanted to add up that, I mean, how do we pick up the messages? I mean, if I'm around, for instance, I'm in the office and I'm surrounded by people. There are so many times, so many things, happening around. How do I pick up that there is a message for me? For example, I also want to bring up something else. That the other day I was in conversation with my daughter, and there was something where one of the daughters said about owning it up. One daughter talking about the other. And then I realized that the same sentence is coming again. I saw a serial on the television. Then I was reading a book with my friend. And then I realized there's something maybe I have to own it up, where I'm not owning up something. I just want, I'm not, able to understand? How do I pick up the messages?
Well, you are picking them up. And we will spend next session really talking about that specific, that's, how you listen. This is who you listen to, but how. But you are picking them up, because one of the things I can say to everybody is, whatever messages you're hearing from one person, if you listen, you're probably hearing it from 5.
Okay.
Because the heart is trying to answer your questions. So it's showing up in multiple places. And that's your heart really working to help you to hear, to listen. So that's the first step, Neelam.
So the next step, I try to understand then, what do I own it up? So I have to check it out, that what if it's something that I'm not owning it up? Is that, am I going?
Yes. Yeah, you ask yourself. And you can use the tool Marilyn talked about a couple minutes ago, which is, if you see that you're getting a certain message, but you don't understand quite how to interpret it for yourself, you can ask your heart. You can say, okay, heart, in the next 24 hours, I want more clarity on what I'm not owning up to. And just let your heart bring you greater clarity. And then just listen again. Listen, and it will come.
Thank you.
We probably have to meditate, Mare.
All right. We have another message here. There's so many questions, and I want to honor them all. Sometimes the self also answers. Of course it does. And as a matter of fact, I'm glad that came up, because in the meditation I will lead today, as well as the next time we get together, I'm going to guide you into a space where you will begin to hear. Okay, so I'm going to ask everyone now if you would take a sip of water if you like, get yourself really comfortable. We're going to start a meditation. All right, everybody ready? Let's see how we do this one. Inhale deeply. Hold it as long as you can. And when you're ready, release it fully. Once again, inhale deeply and hold it. And as you release it, make the choice to release all thought, all distraction. Just let it go. And one more time, on your own, just inhale deeply, hold it, and let it go. And place yourself in a space in your heart where you are most at peace. You can picture yourself in your home or on a beautiful place upon the earth, but place yourself there and feel your body relax. Feel your body let go. And today I will be flowing energy through each of you as I place my hand upon your crown chakra and allow energy to flow to help you release all that you are holding on to in this moment, all distraction, all thought. And I place my hand upon your third eye and call forth that it be opened fully so that you can hear all that is so that you can see all that is coming. Allow your third eye to be opened. And I place my hand upon your throat chakra so that the throat chakra fully opens and that you will, from this moment forth, speak only truth about who you are in this world. That you will honor yourself with your words and honor others as well. And now I place both hands upon your heart chakra, and I call forth that this chakra fully opens. Feel your heart expand. Feel it grow. And I would like you to imagine, if you will, a whirlpool of energy. The point of the whirlpool is at your heart, and the widest place is where my hands are. Feel the energy rotating, guiding its energy into your heart. And I invite each of you to dive or jump into your heart chakra through this whirlpool of energy. You will be safe. Decide if you will go feet first or head first, but you are going into the core of self. Allow yourself to dive into the very core of the heart, your being, your life, your love. You will feel energy perhaps, but keep going deeper and deeper, and you will know when you are there. Everyone has a different experience of this. Some people feel that they are surrounded in white energy. Some feel golden energy. Some see various combinations of colors. But what you experience in this space is extraordinary peace. Keep moving deep within and allow the peace to be all that you are. From this space, know that you are all. And I invite each of you to call forth someone you love. Not yourself, but someone outside to stand before you. Picture someone you love to stand before you within your heart. And I invite you to ask them what they are here to teach you, to share with you, and listen to what they tell you. I will remain silent for a moment. As you listen to the words, remember them. And send this soul, this being off with great love and appreciation and thanks. And now I invite you to bring forth someone with whom you have conflict. It can be a family member. It can be someone at work. We are all equal. Put forth someone with whom you have conflict and ask again, what am I to hear from you? What am I to learn? What are you here to teach me? And just listen. Do not judge the words. Do not push them away. Accept them. And send this being off with great love, for this being has come to you as a great teacher in this moment and in all moments. send them off with your thanks and love. And now the most important being for you to listen to. Call forth yourself. Imagine yourself standing and facing you. Feel the energy of all that you are. You might be so much larger than you imagined. The energetic being that you are. Let that being stand before you and say whatever the being wants to share. Do not ask a question, just let it be. Feel the love. I feel the love each of you really has for yourself. I feel it in this moment and in all moments, but I feel it so profoundly. Feel it. Feel your body vibrate in this love. And while you are here in your heart, I will continue opening all of the chakras of your body. Feel them open. Listen to your heart speak to you. And know that you are love. May the energies from the chakra, each chakra flow together into a giant wave. Feel the energy from your crown through your root chakra. Fill you. You do not have to release yourself, for you are always here. Embrace yourself and hold yourself tight in your heart, in your power. And take a deep breath and let it go. And when you are ready, wiggle your fingers and toes to allow your physical to reawaken from this spiritual experience of perfection. And when you are ready, return. Welcome back, my friends. Chris and I are so honored to share this time with you. It feels like it's a long visit from Sunday to the other Sundays. The time doesn't exist. We always meet in the perfect moment. We look forward to seeing you again and exploring this further. And feel free to reach out with questions anytime. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.